Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. SD Kid. SD Kid. I was talking about him a while back. I don't even remember when. You know, like that's how much time hath passed. Okay? Okay? Are you hearing me? Are you hearing me? That is the kind of time that hath passed between us kindred spirits and brave souls, and twin flames, and us people on the same wavelength, and those of like mind and like body and like spirit and like soul. That is how much time doth hast passed between us. And I don't know about the structural integrity of that sentence. I really don't. I won't lie to you. And this is not going to be like this for right now. I'm technically in test mode, but I'm like, I'm feeling like I'm ready. So, yeah, I'm going to put this stuff down and I'll be back. I'll be back in a second with it not like this. It won't be much different. Hey, it won't be much different. Hey, it actually won't be like that different at all. I'm just going to put the computer down. But once the computer's down, like we can get to yeah pink. Yeah pink. Ah, guys, what can I say? What can I say? Hey, what can I say? Like, it's been a minute. It's been a while. Let me just start by saying, you know what, fine. Let me just start by saying that, to be fair, I have sat down in this spot in front of this camera and I have probably like started recording 4 times in the last 5 weeks since my last episode. 5 weeks, okay. But 4 out of those 5 weeks, I literally sat down to record and I was just like, I would start, or like I would be a little drunk. I would be a little drunk because we know I like famously am like off the sober train right now, and that's okay. Actually, no, I'm back on. Oh, well, actually, I was off of it for like the last like few weeks, like the last month, but I'm so back on. I'm so back on. I actually started a 75 soft last week, and we've been really tight, my 75 soft and I, but we'll get there. Hey, we'll get there. We'll get there because you know what? Nothing could have turned it around. The way things were going, y'all, like nothing could have turned it around except a 75 soft. I'm not going to hold y'all. Like I'm literally not going to hold y'all. But yeah, that being said, I sat down to do this so many times and it's like every single time I did, I would just literally like what I would fall asleep, or like the light was too bright, or I was just like a little too shmammered. So like I would be like, oh my gosh, like I can't do this right now. Like, and literally just put on a movie or something. Like, I was getting tie. I was getting distracted. Okay. Heaven forbid. Okay. Heaven forbid a girl get distracted. So, yeah, that being said, I've attempted, I've made several attempts. I even recorded actually 2 full audio only episodes. Okay. 2 full ones. And then I was like listening back to them and I was like, I do actually fully believe in the medium of a podcast as an audio like as an audio medium only. I do. Like I am an acolyte of like podcast church for real. And like when I say podcast church, I literally mean like the 2016 podcast, like the ancient text, like how everything sounded like it was on fucking NPR and they was doing real sound design. Right? Because, like, let's start there. Don't nobody do real sound design no more. So I definitely am of that belief system and affliction. I'm right there with them. I do believe video killed the radio star once again. Like, I do. I literally screenshotted a Substack where this girl was like, podcasts. Once again, like, video killed the radio star. And dead ass, I believe that. That being said, from what I have going on here and for my system and my society, I do, unfortunately, like, I am a baby of video. Like, I am a film and TV kid. I'm a film and TV baby. I've been born, raised, bred, fed, like, everything, cameras and video, like, and just all of it since I was, like, very, very little. So this is just my truth. I would argue that there are people whose real truth, like the music girls, like the real analog, and like the music girls, like the ones who were raised, like parents playing records in the house and like listening to podcasts and listening to like radio shows. Like there are people whose truth that is. There are people who have no business being on video. Personally, I do think that I have business being on video when it comes to this specific song and dance. So yeah, that's where we are. That's where your email finds me after 5 weeks. Um, but yeah, hi. So yeah, and that's on an intro, I guess. Cause how about that for an intro? Cause how about that for an intro? Like, missed you. Welcome back to my universe. Like, we're here, we're so back. Like, we're so back. We're so back in a crazy way. We're planning a lot of very exciting things. We're planning a few changes to the show. 26, like 25 episodes in, probably 35 to 40 actual recorded episodes, edited and unedited in. I was gonna do a thing where I listened back to the first 25 and was just like reflecting on them, but I was like, I genuinely don't want to do that. I also just think it's too soon, and I'm in the process of building, so I don't want to do the thing where you're like trying to like fix it as you're writing so then it just never gets done, or like the thing where they're like, just make it exist and you can make it perfect later. So I'm just working on it. I'm working on it in whatever ways I can, which again involves a few things that I am working on the side that I'm like a little bit excited about for this, because I'm so excited about this and I'm always excited to work on this. But yeah, that being said, we're here and welcome. This is Getting It Together, the podcast where famously we're getting it together. Like, I don't know, we're getting it together and we're a team. We're a team in that. Okay? We're getting it together and we're a team in that, because you know what? For all the non-believers, the overachievers, the non-believers, the underachievers, the tweet and deleters, like, we need we do need, I think, a champion in our time for the unemployed girls and the unemployed people, or the formerly unemployed, because I guess I am recently employed, or the job haters, or the live at homers, or the can't afford renters. Like, we've all been in various like shite situations, and no one ever wants to talk about the shite situations. Everyone always wants to talk about the good times. And to that I say, I hear you and I raise you one. It's okay for things to be a little more textured than that. And that's been my word of the weeks, several weeks. That's been my word of the past several. I'm not gonna hold you. Like, I'm always like, you know what? We need to make the experience more textured. We need to bring more texture. Like, we just need to have more texture to all of this. Because honestly, everything is getting a little flat. Can I say that? Like, that's like a whole other separate thing. Like, things are getting flat, and I just feel like that's so unnecessary. Like, there is nothing flat about the way that we live and exist and inhabit space and take up space in this world, but we're like almost like committed to the bit of trying to flatten everything. Like, why is that happening? I don't understand like why we're doing it, why this is happening, why the whole like the like, it just is all like so weird to me. But that being said, this is where we really try to strip all of that away. That is what I'm wanting to do here. I'm wanting to be like, here, let me give y'all something rich and lavish in humanity. Like, let me give y'all something rich in humanity. Let me give y'all something rich and textured so that you can really see like what we're talking about when we say like hashtag shout out to the human experience and cheers to human connection. And that's like honestly what this is all for. And that is what I'm here for. And that is what I'm trying to do here. So yeah, getting it together, the podcast where we get it together. It looks different. It's always gonna look different. And it's literally like a lifelong process because famously, no one ever knows what they're doing. And no one has it figured out. And everyone is always figuring it out all the time. So yeah, that being said, welcome back. Welcome first. Welcome. If this is your first time, um, welcome back if this is your 26th time. Welcome back if this is like your second or third time, or if you're just coming from some other corner of the internet that I have managed to infiltrate somehow. Welcome. Like, happy to have you. Let's just, I don't even like, I don't know. Like, I'm like, I don't even know where to start, but like, let's catch up. So, as some of you know, I recently for a while there, had two jobs. One of them was a job within my industry. It was working a festival, like a film festival, or I guess like a TV festival, which I really enjoyed. And I can't wait to talk about it. So, but you know, honestly, we'll get there. One of them was working a TV festival, and one of them is like my like normal job. So the festival job, because that's just like a week of like active festival happening. That's like technically was like contract seasonal, and then like my actual job is like my like it's my 40 hours. It's my 40 hours. Like some would say, like maybe, mayhaps, like a 13th reason or something to that degree or of that nature. Like there are different ways definitely to quantify a full-time job. For me right now, I've actually come to a place. I've actually come to a place where I'm like, okay, you know what? I just hit 90 days today at it. Mind y'all, the only reason I had the 90 days marked in my calendar for real, is because I was like, that's the expiration date. Like, I remember like my second week, I literally was like, absolutely not. I'm pulling out my calendar. I am counting out 90 days from 2 weeks ago, my start date. And I am, by this date, like, this is my deadline to GTFO for real. And you know what? We all know about the job market, so I don't even have to say nothing about the job market, and I won't. And I won't. But that being said, like I do have like my day job, which is just doing media at like a tech company, and then I do for this festival, I was working in registration, which again, so fun. It was so fun. It was so fun. I think I always come back to this place with film and television. I will never not come back to this place. And this is so comforting because this is like just how I know it's for me. And I'm sure I've said that before, but like I always come back to this place where like I will get involved in it some way, somehow. Usually by honestly like accident these days. Like it definitely is like a thing that I just sort of seem to be stumbling into over and over again, or encountering people like over and over again. And I will just get into the space and I'm like, gosh, like it just could never be anything else for me. Like it literally could just never be anything else for me. And I've said that before and we've like talked about it before, but it just like, I don't know, something about it definitely does it just like brings me back every time. And it was such a welcome reprieve from my day job, like from my 9 to 5, that like I at the end of it, I was like, man, like, yeah, like that was so much work and like that was so exhausting. And like having that and having to also think about like work and just like, it was just like a lot, but it was just so worth it because I was like, but this is what these are like the experiences that I want my life to be made out of. You know what I mean? And that's like a really particular feeling. Like, I don't know if, or I don't know like how common this is for other people, but I would say pretty often these days, and it always is in a specific type of environment, and it's an environment that I've been literally trying to put myself in more often, which is to just say that like I think that the real truth of my truth and like the truth of my heart is that like I am an extroverted introvert. Honestly, no, no, girl, because like I was gonna lie. I was literally gonna get on here and lie. I think I'm just an extroverted extrovert, to be honest. Like, I definitely absolutely love my silence, love my space, value my space deeply, but like, I mean, okay, wait, because you know what? We be throwing around introvert and extrovert, but like actually let me make sure in real life, let me put this down. I'm like, let me make sure in real life that I'm like using this properly. Well, okay. Recharging energy through solitude. Doesn't everyone, arguably though, does everyone not recharge their energy through solitude? Like, isn't that the whole point of like going home and going to bed? So I don't know. So when I say extroverted extrovert, I mean, and also honestly, it does energize me to be around people. Like, I'm an extrovert in that I like, because it says here, a personality type characterized by expressive, outgoing, and gregarious behavior, which love gregarious behavior, love the word gregarious, really into that. Um, Extroverts thrive in the external world and gain mental and emotional energy from active social interactions, collaboration, and engaging environments. And you know what? Yes. Okay. Yeah. Like, yeah, that's the truth. That's my truth. I'm an extroverted extrovert. I do love whatever, I guess, coming home and coming to bed and like sitting in a sensory deprivation like box with the door closed at work sometimes. But like, that's not to recharge. That's because I'm not doing what I want to be doing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to like find it. That's not because I'm like, I need to recharge. I need to like protect my energy and like whatever. Like that happens, I think, because I'm like, I'm at work. I'm like, man, like I'm really not FW this right now, like for real, for real. And the only way for me to like find it is to like have a 5 minute meditation where I'm like, and you know what? It'll be okay. And you'll be okay. And this is all temporary and everything is temporary. And you have a vision, you have a goal, and you have a dream. And you are working towards something. So, yeah, that being said, working the festival was so fun because I honestly have discovered about myself recently that like I thrive in and I love like working live events. Like I love being on the ground. I love working with people. I love working live events. Like I love like that is like my tea, and I think that that is kind of a little bit of the if I'm going to remain in corporate while I have to pay bills, I think I am trying to make a pivot into working live events. And I've been doing it for free for a long time now because I started working in live events like probably beginning of 2025, maybe end of 2024, like when I had just been in Texas for like 6 to 8 months at that point, like 6 months at that point. And I was like, I need to get out of the house. And so I got involved with this local group and I just started working like live events for them and helping them like coordinate and like do all of their stuff. And I did that like all of 2025 and like into early 2026. And then I kind of have like stepped away from it a little bit, but then like re-stepping into it, working this festival. And I don't know, like I was like, yes, this isn't everybody's tea. This is actually my tea. Like this is just my tea. That's what it is. I love I love the feeling of being in a room and feeling like I know what's going on here. One, I helped put this whole show together. Like, I helped put this together. I know what's going on here. Like, I feel like anyone can like ask me a question and I can help them find an answer and I know the answer. Like, that's just, I don't know like what that is. I don't know if that's like I don't know if that's astrology, like rooted in astrology, or like if that's just that. Like, but I just like the feeling of, and arguably I feel like everyone likes this feeling, but the feeling of just knowing what you're talking about and being like, yes, like I know what I'm talking about. And like I was having every time I work a live event, that is kind of the experience that I have. And I just really love interfacing with people. I have always loved interfacing with people. I love talking to people. I am the one who's going to talk to you in the elevator. Like I am the one that's going to talk to you in the grocery store. Unfortunately, like I am the one that's going to ask you what book you're reading and ask you to tell me all about it. Like unfortunately, I am the one that's going to be like, I don't know, like interrogating your music taste from watching over your shoulder because I was nosy on the subway. Like I don't know. Like that's just how I'm made. That's okay. And that's not for everybody. And sometimes you get a short response, but it's okay. And if someone's having a bad day, that's not your fault. That's just somebody having a bad day. So it's like, and if you want to talk to the people, like talk to the people. Like famously within, I think, my family, I have been always considered like very talkative and like very annoying. So like whatever, like that's fine, I guess. But yeah, I just am like realizing that I love being in spaces where I'm like, oh wait, I don't even need to talk to the people and accost them. Like, they're coming to me because they have questions, because I know something, because I'm working this event and I am part of this thing, and blah, blah, blah. Like, it just feels very, I don't know. That is like super refreshing. And since I started doing that, I have been like, yeah, this might be my TTT. Which also, I will say, similarly to the podcast, I'm like, this is my tea. Because again, like, I'm like, like literally, like I'm a mouth runner and a mouth track star. That is so sorry. Like that is the thought that just popped into my brain. It was she's a runner, she's a track. This is the order of how those thoughts just went. I said I'm a mouth runner to myself in my head. I caught it in those 3 seconds. In those 3 seconds that was just happening. And then I was like, oh, she's a runner, she's a track star. And then I was like, she's a mouth runner, she's a mouth track star. And then I was like, honestly, yeah. Cause she a mouth runner and she a mouth track star for real. And that's why I'm like, this might be it. Like two as well. You know, because oftentimes unless they are like actors or comedians or like audience facing talents, so like stage performers, dancers, like it is, I think, pretty common for creatives and like writers, even though writers famously have plenty to fucking say, they be real. They're always like, or it's not there always, not to generalize, but I feel like it's very common for like writers and directors to famously not be mouth runners and mouth track stars. Like, I feel like that is a quality that is often reserved for on screen talent or like on stage talent, or just like the talent, or like the comedians, or like the people who are supposed to be working the room or working the crowd or whatever. But I'm also like, man, but like, why? Like, where did we come up with this concept that like artists have to be like sullen and silent and like not giggly and fun and like, like I don't know, like it just feels like there's always like this, like, even when I think of Substack, which I have thoughts on Substack, but honestly, I'm going to save them for another day because we just don't have time. We just don't have time. But remember that I said this because I will get back to that. But when I get on Substack, for example, and like everyone's like trying to like perpetuate this like image that is just so particular and like curated and like quiet and soft, or like radical and angry, but still in like this like well spoken, highly intelligent, tortured way. And I'm just like, how come this is all of it? Like, y'all can't all be tortured. We can't, like, not, it's not, because that's just not even reality. I don't walk outside and everyone's tortured. You know what I mean? Like, that's just not even real. So, what is it about these, like, spaces that are made for artists and made for, like, writers and made in this way? Even, like, galleries and how they're so silent. Art is meant to provoke conversation. Actually, now that I think about it, because I'm like, because museums and galleries are always like so quiet, and you walk into a room and everybody's like talking low and being like, why? Like, what are we talking about? Art is literally meant to provoke conversation, to provoke emotion, Like, it's meant to be talked about. It's meant to be digested. It's meant to be discussed. And we like go into these spaces for these specific types of creatives, and it's this like unspoken rule that there's supposed to be like a solemn silent digestion happening of the art, when it's like that's not what like what is expected though. Of like when you go to a comedy show, you're supposed to be like laughing, or when you go to like a whatever, like I don't know, but and that was not like the most articulate thought, but if you listen to the whole thing, then you do you get what I mean? Like, you know what I mean, you know? So yeah, like I don't know. I think I've as I've been kind of like forcing myself out of like the, cuz also like when you go to film school, cuz famously like film school and film school kids, like they have that. They got that dog in them where they're like, I'm committed to the bit and the bit is suffering. And if you're not committed to that bit, then GTF out my face for real before I whoop you, literally old boy style by Park Chan Wook. Like, that's like how they be talking. So it's kind of just like, okay, I either have to just like stop being a mouth runner and a mouth track star, or I have to like disguise it or pursue comedy or something or other of of a certain nature to make it okay to be. And I don't mean like a mouth runner and a mouth track star, mind you, in the way that like Quentin Tarantino is. Like, that's a mouth track star in a way where it's like you're insufferable. And that is also because the ego, like the egotistical mouth track star, the egotistical mouth runner, and the egotistical mouth track star, that is actually something that is somehow allowed in this space, but that is completely different. Like, that's like I just like the sound of my own voice type of person. And in that circumstance, I would not even consider you a mouth track star, because you know what? You're not a star. You're not serving the people. You're not putting in reps of listening and understanding to make sure that the things that you are saying are meaningful. I would call you, what would I call you? Like, if not a mouth track star, then what? Probably something along the lines of like a mouth, I don't know, like what's like something that just does a lot of running that nobody really gets a choice in, like nobody really wants to hear. Hmm. Maybe like you're like a mouth high school track coach. Mouth high school track coach. Sure. Let's go with that. And it's like it's like we've been trained to think that we have to listen to you and go by your rules, which is that all of us who are like mouth runners and mouth track stars think that we also have to be like this self, like egotistic, self-centered, like egotistical, and something that is quite literally insisting upon itself just in existence. Every time we open our mouths, it's just us insisting upon itself. And I'm like, I don't know that that's the true nature of a writer, though. I think writers have a lot to say, and I think that they're mouth track stars. And I think what makes them stars is that they exist for the people for the most part. Like, yes, arguably, like, writers do exist for themselves, but like any art medium, you are putting art in, you are creating art because you have to work it out of your body. And then I would say, like, the second piece of like it having to exist, this concept of like, I made it because it has to exist in the world, right? Like, I think the second part of that concept of like it having to exist in the world comes from a like an innate desire to make a connection or to seek understanding or like to know that there has to be someone else who is having this experience or who understands this thing. Like there is like this, I can't be the only one, right? You know what I mean? And I think that in nature, it's not like it is in a way self-serving to create art, but I don't think it's self-serving to be an artist. I actually think it serves our entire existence like as a team on this earth, because I do consider humanity a team, and that's also a whole separate conversation for another time because I got distracted and I was going to talk about the TV festival. I was going to talk about the festival. And what I will say is, cuz you know what, the point that I was going to make, some of the points that I were going to make were just that like I learned a lot about myself, and that I learned that I love film and television. Obviously, that's just clear, and this is just, it's just so stunning every time I get to be involved in projects like that and things like that and places like that. I learned that I am a, actually, okay, so I kind of did touch on my bases actually, because I learned that I'm an extroverted extrovert, and I learned that I have to be doing a job where I am working with people if I am going to be like reduced to corporate life for whatever amount of time until like my shite is out the mud for real. Um but yeah, it was just it was really, really great. There is something so special about just simply people gathered in a space because they're just excited about an art or an art form. Like, even if it's like an art fair or it's like a fashion show where it's like people, like, yes, like these spaces have become, I think, unfortunately, in a lot of instances, like film festivals and like fashion shows and like the art basels and like the like conventions, like all of these things have kind of become, to a certain extent, like status symbols and competitions. And like, yeah, they are competitive, like a little bit in their nature, because like in some instances they're showcasing something, and like, or they're like awards based, or they're like, you are going there to receive funding or to receive awards or to like to be seen. But at the end of the day, the true truth of why everyone showed up to that space, even underneath being seen, even the people who just go to be seen, is because they're excited to be seen by those types of people. And they're excited about the art, and they are excited about the craft, and they are excited about the form. Like, even if it's just like the teeniest, tiniest inkling of a feeling that you have to like really dig for to see with a microscope, that's like low key everybody's truth. And so that was just so fun. I definitely am making it a goal of mine to attend at least like one major film festival next year, like this upcoming calendar year. I really want to go to Sundance. So honestly, speaking Sundance into existence, because I like the idea of mountains, a film festival in the mountains. And I have had a series of daydreams and night dreams about like me encountering like the love of my life at like Sundance Film Festival, like at like some party, and it's like nighttime and the lighting is warm, and I have an old fashioned because by this point I have reconciled with alcohol specifically, and we have a great relationship, and it's like so healthy. And we're like in this like moody space that's like so warm and so rich, and it's like the type of place that is like that smells like Tay Noir by Le Labo, and literally like smells like the wood that is in the walls of the establishment. Like you can see like everything is like made of like wood and like leather, and it smells like wood and leather and like something else that you can't quite put your nose on. And like in some of these fantasies, like I do make eye contact with someone from across the room, and we like maybe kind of are familiar with each other like a little bit. Like we've maybe met before, but we can't really tell. So we have this moment where he comes up and he's like, "Hey, like, have we met before?" And I'm like, you know, I don't know. Like I was just also wondering. Like you look so familiar. And somehow in that interaction, wherever that goes, I assume it would lead to the best to I assume it would lead to the rest of my life, to be honest. I'm assuming I'm seeing a hot stranger from across the room who is also at Sundance because he is a supremely talented something of some sort, supremely talented. Like it is disgusting. We've already worked together back before we were really established. We worked together like, in the good old days, and we like maybe worked on like a short, super indie like film that like a friend of a friend invited me to like first AD on, and then like he was either like talent or like a writer of some sort or like a something or other, or maybe he was the like the editor, or like there's some sort of, there are levels and layers of involvement to that project that we did do together in the past. And so when we encounter each other at Sundance, I'm like, wow. And I just remember seeing you for the first time and being like, man, this person is like brilliant and talented. I would love to stay in touch, but I'm never going to chase a man down, because that's true. Because I would love to stay in touch, but I'm like never going to chase a man down, and that's okay in some instances. And so like whatever, like we never speak again. So we're re-encountering each other now at Sundance at this moody hotel function that's like inside of like a beautiful 5-star room that is like dimly lit, and I have an old fashioned, and we're back at the bar. And we're like, "Do you know blah 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 person's name that we worked with?" And I would be like, "Yeah, like I do know blah blah blah. Like did we work together like years ago, right? Like it was years ago." And some like how those things go, like one thing just leads to another, and we end up married, Oscared, and with child. Well, and let me dial it back several levels actually, because that was going to be a really crazy way to go, because I was yes anding myself, you see, but like actually I took it like in a direction that like I honestly didn't want to take it. So because the thing about like yes anding is that you don't really be thinking about that shit, it just happens. So that was a lot, but we're gonna walk it back a few steps. Anyway, the night ends in us, we're married, and we're Oscared, and we are co-owners of an incredibly successful niche indie production house, something very small and unheard of before, like similar to an A24 in its early days, but we produce very specific niche projects, and it's just a little bit different. And yeah, that happens like maybe like 2 to 5 years after we meet, we re-encounter each other at Sundance. So the point is, I do have a dream. I just need to, actually, the point is, need to attend more film festivals. Don't know how we even took it there or why, but at the end of the day, like, need to just attend more film festivals. Like, that's where we're at. That's what we're on. Like, that's what we're doing. And that is like that's something I'm gonna really pursue next year. In the next year, I'm gonna be like, yeah, let me just go. Like, as an attendee, just on vibes alone. Better, even better if I can get a company to like sponsor me. Like, if my new job is like, yeah, we'll send you, or something, or someone's like, yeah, like, we'll send you to Sundance to be our blah 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 representative for blah blah blah, because then also you go with a purpose, which is another reason that I love working events in general, is because you're there with a purpose. Like, you're not just there to like network or like sell yourself. Like, I like being at an event with a job to do. That almost makes the event more enjoyable. In my opinion, I think events are more enjoyable when you are there with like job. So yeah, that's that. And how are we doing on time, and also how on earth did we get here? Cuz exactly, and it's been 42 minutes, and this is just, I think, and exactly, it's been 42 minutes. So this is just further proof that I actually should be doing this more often, this whole song and this whole dance, and I am never ever 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 going to take that much time off ever again. Okay? That was like almost an involuntary hiatus. I think I hit a wall hard and fast after working my other job. As amazing and fulfilling as it was, I then got like really really depressed because I was like, I'm not doing this every day. I have to go back to my regular job. And that like did make me really sad. And so I do think what I was feeling and why I was just like out of it was like a little bit of like a post festival depression. Um but yeah, so that's we're gonna move on. So I have decided that the the way that I was doing this before, if you have been a listener or if this is your first time tuning in, well, I'll explain. I usually do a section called recently viewed, but I think I'm gonna change that to like what I'm on right now. Because honestly, like, what I'm on right now can be anything. So I could be like, oh, I just started Spanish lessons, or like, oh, I've been learning how to play chess, which I haven't been, but I am really interested in learning how to play chess. Or like just like different like little random things. And I feel like it's not restricted then to just like music and like movies or books and things, because I feel like you can just be on different things and on different time when you're on different time, because I don't know, people be doing stuff, minds be changing. Sometimes you don't read for 6 weeks and you don't watch a movie for 6 weeks and you don't watch a show for 6 weeks, like, sometimes. And during that time, you know what you did do? You got really good at playing Sudoku, which, not to toot my own horn, I'm already very good at Sudoku, but I did get into a Sudoku book recently. So, yeah, that's one of the things I'm on this week. What else? Off campus. I'm not necessarily on it this week. I was on it a couple weeks ago, but since we're catching up, hey, since we're saying hey and we're catching up and we're getting reacquainted, um, I was on it a couple weeks ago. I feel, since I am so late to this party, and like, I really genuinely, I don't think anyone cares anymore because I don't really care that much anymore. All I'll say about off campus is, actually didn't finish it. Halfway through the final episode, I was. I was obsessed with it, but that's because I am a 26-year-old woman. And all of the men in the show are my peers. It was not weird for me. I was like, yeah, I could get into this. Like, I am into it because these men, for all intents and purposes, are the men of my generation. Like, these are my peers. Like, these are the types of men ish in real life, the actors, the performances, not the college, not the like fratty hockey player whatevers. I say that to say because the men in the show are all like of my, I'm like, yeah, I'm encountering people like that out in the street, like men my age who look like this and act like this, and but like I don't know, like there was like some level of disillusionment, but like that being said, I was into it because I was like, yeah, like of course they're all hot and they're all my age. That's famously, there is no better feeling than being like, oh my goodness. I just remember being a kid and being like, oh gosh, I'm so in love with this new heartthrob, Googling his age and seeing that he's 20 years older than me. Oh. And is there no worse feeling than that? So is there no better feeling than when you see the heartthrobs and off campus and you Google them and you're like, oh, they're all 28, 29, 30, 26, 25. Oh, like, sorry, there is no better feeling. Because you know what? After years, after ages 13, after ages 9 to 20, being mostly the experience of seeing someone hot on my screen, Googling them, and seeing that they were at least 10 plus, in the case of Harry Styles, 7, 6, they were significantly older than me, and being like, oh my gosh, like this is heart rending. Like, this is like, I just can't even, like, I just don't even know what to do with this information. Of course, it feels good to now be at an age where I can see someone hot on my screen and I can look them up and I can be like, so you're saying there's a chance? Sorry, and that's my that's how I live my delusional life. If I'm looking someone up and I'm seeing that they're around my age, I'm like, oh, so you're saying there's a chance? Sorry, like that's my truth. That's why I loved Off Campus. Hate that the girl that they cast in that show was 18 and they were all like super grown when they started filming it. No shade to Hannah because she does have her like cute little brunette bob. Her bob is Kuntz. It's not. But it is like really a traditionally like good bouncy like fuck ass bob. I will say that. I don't know why it was on. I don't know why I thought to call it like cunty because it wasn't that, but it was like a good fuck ass bob. Like, you know, when you see a fuck ass bob and you're like, damn, like that is a fuck ass bob in true form. And she had it. She had that long bob, bouncy, voluminous. It was perfect. She was perfect. She did fabulous. She portrayed college freshman girl well. Why on earth they had her up in there with all those grown men? I don't know. I don't know. It was weird to me. I'm not gonna lie. Once I found that out, I think that's why I didn't finish the show. I think I literally found that information out when I was on episode 8. And I was like, damn. Well, there goes that. And now, oh, fantasy killed because it's all feeling very weird now. I will say though, very into Allie and Dean. Don't actually care about anything else except Allie and Dean. Whatever they have going on, whatever they're doing, whatever they're selling, I'm buying. Personally, I actually recently heard that they're like producing a special for Quinn. Okay, period. Don't know that I'll be buying that, but I will be talking about it and and encouraging others to get into it if that is their tea. So, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, don't know how, weird cuz we were talking about off campus. No, we were talking about what I'm on right now. Okay, so what I'm on right now. So off campus, that was of 2 weeks ago. So we're a little bit late on that. Um, I was gonna say something or other about Drake, but to my surprise, and if you've listened to this podcast, then maybe you're surprised too, because we know that unfortunately, I am not a Drake hater. I'm not necessarily a Drake apologist, but I'm certainly not a Drake hater. I just like Drake a lot, usually. But right now, for some reason, I'm just feeling like I actually don't have anything to say about him at all. Because what I was going to say is also late to this, and this is also of about 2 weeks ago. I did listen to all three of the albums. I'm they are what they are. Like the music is like the music. I enjoyed Iceman the most. I did have a few saved tracks, but that's about it. I didn't like do too much. Um I will say like I'm very very glad that I have not been on TikTok in a long time, like since before he released that music and after. So I have not been like inundated with Drake clip playing over and over and over and over again. I can only imagine the way people are playing to death that music on TikTok. I can literally only imagine it. And I'm glad that I just have to imagine it because otherwise I would be sick of it by now. So, yeah, I'm happy that I'm still enjoying it because I'm not getting beat over the head with it on TikTok and Reels. And yeah, liking that just okay, but not really anything else to say on Drake. Um, yeah. And in honor of the World Cup, if I didn't talk about this already, because maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Like I said, I'm not going to go back and listen to the first 25 episodes. I've decided to leave them where they are. That's it. I'm just leaving them where they are. Cool. We live and we learn by living and learning, not by watching ourselves on YouTube. Um, but in honor of the World Cup, Blue Lock. I don't know if I ever said. I think I maybe was watching Blue Lock when I stopped. I have since then finished it. First of all, like woof, 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 literally like putting a little black triangle on my nose, putting like some ears on, and going like this. Like, that's how I feel about Blue Lock. I will say. And this is like very specific to the anime girls and like, and everyone anime, I guess, like not just anime girls, but just to the anime people, like they will relate to this. Season 2, the animation for season 2 the animation for season 2, like, what was that about? Like, what was that about? Literally, what was that about? Because actually, you gave us Blue Lock season 1. You gave us an elite, incredible experience. Oh, also, for those who, no, you know what? Yes. So for those of you who don't know Blue Lock, like before I even say too much about it, it's basically a soccer anime. Okay. If you're into anime, I think you would love it. Even if you're not into sports anime, I would absolutely recommend Blue Lock to everyone and their mother. I just would. I think it's that good. It's like the type of anime that transcends genre. And there are anime in each genre. As what I would consider to be an anime connoisseur, there are anime of every genre. There's always like one something that someone doesn't typically watch that everyone loves because it's just that good. Or maybe not that everyone loves, but just that like people who love anime love because it's just that good. Like there is no denying it. So that being said, Blue Lock I think is in that category for sports anime. I think it's like an anime that non-sports people could get into. The plot of it is basically there's like this mission in Japan to produce like the world's best soccer striker, but also to like change Japanese football slash soccer like for all time and to like make this super mega elite like athlete come out of like the Japanese like soccer world. So they like recruit all of these kids from like all over the country and they like put them into this incredibly intense training program called Blue Lock where they literally like breathe, eat, sleep, live soccer. Season 1 so good. It follows this main character who's like his whole thing, which also cuz when you hear this you'll understand contextually why it makes so much sense given exactly what this podcast is about. But his whole thing is that like he is he is like a master of adaptability, and like his strength is really that like at any point he is willing to destroy like everything he is, everything he knows about soccer, completely rewrite and change his rules for the sake of I don't know, like creating a new version of himself, and like not essentially from scratch, but just using all of the puzzle pieces. There's literally like this imagery that they use in the show where like they show his there's an animation of like his head dissolving away into puzzle pieces, and then like all of the pieces like come back together and like build like it's a whole thing, okay? It's tea, but like, hello, like, is that not what we're here for? Like, is that not what getting it together is about? Like, is it not about like constantly shifting your own reality and like thinking about all of the ways in which you can change and grow and improve and like adapt to the human experience and become who you are? Like, I don't know, but it's like the way that he does it, it's literally like you're watching him becoming, and it's just all about like his becoming. And it's interesting because he is constantly like recreating the puzzle of himself, which he is constantly recreating the puzzle of himself. Like, are we not all just always trying to constantly recreate the puzzle of ourselves, or like find missing pieces, or like just discover things? I don't know. I think it's a really beautiful premise. I think it's a great concept. I have beef with the fact that they gave us such a stellar first season. Stunning, gorgeous, gorgeous, amazing, fabulous, awesome. Just to then, I guess, cut the timeline and the budget, I'm assuming, for season 2. And I hate when they do this, because there's a thing that they do in anime, and this has happened to a few different teams on a few different projects, where the studios or like some executive or like somebody comes down on someone's head basically and is like, so now this amazing thing you created, do it in half the time. And then it's like so horrible for the creatives and the artists and the animators, because they're like, yeah, like we have to like cut frames, and we have to do this, and we have to do that, and we have to like rush just to get it done. And like and it sucks because the quality of the product that you're getting like in the final delivered episode of anime, for example, looks like it was cut in half. Like the way that action sequences look in Blue Lock season 1 is not the way that action sequences look in Blue Lock season 2. Like, instead of like a hand like moving like this, it's like a freeze frame and it moves. Like it's just different. You know what I mean? And if you watch anime, you get it, and I'm sure you've seen it happen in some of your favorite shows as well. I have seen it also happen in Haikyuu. I have seen it happen I've seen it happen a few different times. I don't even need to go there, but start paying those people and start giving them the time that they need. If they made something a phenomenon to begin with, why would you take away what they had to make it great the first time? If you want it to hit again just as hard and be as profitable and as successful, even in the spirit of capitalism, if that's the spirit you want to be in, if you want to be in the spirit of capitalism, give them people the resources that they need to make something that people want to watch. And yes, I did watch all of season 2. And yes, people who are real fans are going to keep showing up. But it's just like, and maybe we're the problem for accepting a diminished product. And we're letting them get away with this. And we're letting the studios and the executives get away with this. Because this has also happened with real television too. Like, people, we have the same experience like in like serialized television. So I guess this happens everywhere, and it is always like the consumer's fault for coming back. But it's just like, damn. Like, give them people the resources that made y'all all rich in the first place. Like, why would you start skimping on quality when it's like the whole thing is contingent upon the quality? But that's just really annoying. And that's actually a whole other thing about just like enshittification, because we don't even have to talk about enshittification, but I am going to put it on the notes for next week, because that is something that I could get into too, because that's crazy. And it's like, yeah, like things are getting worse, but they're costing the same amount of money, or like things are getting worse and we're all just like kind of taking it for the worst thing that it whatever, doesn't matter. So yeah. Anyway, I also do a segment on here. Oh, my hair. Sorry, y'all, because like I'm like, these braids got me so bent out of shape, but it don't even matter because I'm taking them down. I'm taking them down in a week, so it literally don't even matter. I also do a segment where I do Man Crush Monday and Women Crush Wednesday. Now, I have decided for now that I'm gonna do Man Crush Monday slash, or no, Man Crush Monday, because I usually do both, but I think moving forward we're gonna do one or the other, because honestly, in real life, I think that if someone is the apple of your eye, there can only be one apple of your eye for like that time period, like for real, because otherwise they wouldn't be the apple. You know, like, and I look upon everyone fondly. I do. I look upon the public fondly. I look upon most people fondly. And I famously have 10 crushes at any given moment. But I want to narrow that down a little bit and really focus on like letting my Man Crush Monday or my Woman Crush Wednesday really shine. Damn, and in the spirit of Pride Month, I do wish it was a woman this month, but unfortunately, like actually in real life, if I'm being honest, if I'm being honest, I was texted, I think like last week, and asked like who would be on my Hear Me Out cake. And this was my first thought for Man Crush Monday, and this is what I wrote down, and this is the answer that just immediately came to mind. And I did just try to come up with another one because I didn't want to say it after saying Pride Month. I did not want to say this after saying Pride Month. Let's start there. Okay? And after that whole little speech that I just did about like apples and eyes, like I genuinely, like, this is not what I wanted to come out of my mouth, but I just can't think of anything else right now. So here we are. First thought, Danny Phantom. And I don't mean Danny Phantom. Yeah, we're not talking about Danny Phantom as he was like, I think Ghost of Christmas Past, like old like ghost kid from 2009. Like, that's not the Danny Phantom that we're talking about. I think we are bringing him into reality. We are definitely giving him the life that the program creators did intend when creating him. And I think the intention was for him to grow with us. And I think the intention was for him to kind of just continue on in his verse. And so in his verse, he's what? Like, that's actually, so that's going to be Danny Phantom at about 31. That is going to be Danny Phantom of about 31 years old, which honestly can't imagine it, but kind of can. In the way that I see David Cornsweat as Clark Kent, because you know what, I will say Danny Phantom had a Clark Kent situation going on with the black hair and the blue eyes. One. Also, with the fact that he had his normal life and then he had his like ghost life. The story of superheroes everywhere, his secret identity, he was Danny Phantom, like, but he was also Danny blank, like Danny blank, whatever his last name is. Danny blank, don't know. But he did have like a very Clark Kent situation going on. So like we're seeing Danny Phantom at 31 years old. We're seeing, which is just above where I am in age, but in a way that I feel like it's acceptable. Because you know what? Harry Styles is 31. And I would do it. Me, like, Harry Styles is 31 and I would do it. Because he's like famously like so engaged to Zoe Kravitz, and that's like not like anything that I want to talk about right now. So no, but like good for her though, like really actually good for her. But yeah, we're talking Danny Phantom at 31. We are talking in his Clark Kent era. I genuinely see him as a stupidly wealthy, stupidly wealthy, incredibly well paid tech something, because if we remember his lore, he was always in that basement. His dad was always in that basement. And his parents, they was always down there messing with that time travel stuff and those portals and those other dimensions. Those were scientists. Actually, if we're remembering his lore, Danny Phantom is realistically 31 years old, and I would say working in deep tech and incredibly wealthy in a way where he doesn't even know what to do with it, like the recluse from Ex Machina. I don't remember his name. He was played by Oscar Isaac, but that is what I see for Danny Phantom. Except instead of making like a robot woman in his basement, he has his ghost portal down there and he is doing interdimensional travel and exploration. So, yeah, that being said, insanely high paying job in tech, because that is his truth. Still giving us black hair, blue eyes. Still giving us white hair and green eyes when he's in his ghost form. Um, yeah, and I do think that, like, if we're bringing him into this world, if we're bringing him into the real world, I do imagine that like he is doing a lot of good right now. Like I do see like a world where in 2026 at 31 years old with an incredible amount of money, Danny Phantom is doing a lot of good right now. So yeah, that's my Man Crush Monday this week. And that being said, we're just gonna put a pin in it and we're gonna stop it right there. We're just gonna stop it all right there because that was really enough. That was enough, and that was enough of yes anding. To be honest, that was like my nightmare. So yeah. Follow me on Substack. I've started using Substack like Twitter. Oh, this is something else. New to everyone. New to everyone, not new to people that like I use Substack. I am famously always plugging Substacks. I mentioned it earlier in this episode, but I have started using it like a Twitter. So for like brief and random thoughts that are probably nonsensical, but that like again, I'm just using it the way that I used to use Twitter in 2012 to 2019, 2020. Um, Follow me on Substack at not Milani. On Instagram, I am on Instagram. The Instagram for this podcast is at Milani Has a Podcast. And then, because I am doing a different thing with it where I'm like the show has like, I don't know. It's a thing. It's a thing. So yeah, Instagram is at Milani Has a Podcast. MILANIBT like the makeup brand. Yeah, Milani Has a Podcast on Instagram. And then please email me for chill advice. I don't know how many times I have to ask you people. I don't know how many times I'm going to have to ask you people. And I don't know how many times I have to or have had to in the past. But email me for chill advice. I'm serious. I want to enter into my advice column bag so badly, and I feel like the world is rife with stories and people with curiosities, and there is a place besides Reddit that you should turn to with your inquiries about if you're the asshole or not, and it's here. So send me an email. There's a place. There is a secondary place. There's a whole secondary location where you should send your Am I the Assholes? And it's here at Getting It Together. No. Getting It Together at gmail.com. That's what we're doing, okay? Obviously, it would be great if it was within the greater context of this concept of getting it together. But arguably, most Am I the Asshole stories and any sort of advice is someone trying to figure out more about themselves by way of inquiry on the internet. So, that being said, please make a young hose like advice column, Carrie Bradshaw. No, 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 no. Actually, no, 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 no. Not Carrie Bradshaw dreams. Advice column dreams come to life. Getting it together at gmail.com. Send me an email for chill advice. I'll make it so chill. Like, if you are the asshole, I literally won't even like read you for real. I'll read you for fake. Like, so yeah, if you want to hear more about it, do that. And then I don't know, everything, like, comment, subscribe. Like, I dead ass don't know. Like, comment, subscribe. There was something else that I wanted to say. Nope, not in my notes. So I'm assuming that that's everything. But that being said, that's everything. So yeah, we're so back. We're so happy to be here. I'm so excited. 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 I am. I'm so excited, you guys. Like, y'all have no idea. You guys, you don't even know. Like, y'all don't even have literally any idea. Like, and on that note, like, that made me uncomfortable, so I'm gonna go now. Talk to you later. Like, bye. Like, bye.